and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 309. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, what's up?
Not a whole lot. We're also joined this week by Film Pulse contributor and my co-host on the Saved by the 90s podcast, Ken Bakley. Hey, Ken.
Hello.
As we say goodbye to 2018, we are dedicating this episode to highlighting our top 10 movies of the year, along with some other cinematic highlights the year has brought us. We'll sprinkle them in. We'll talk some honorable mentions and the like, how we normally do with these year-end shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think last year we did our top lists and then we talked about some honorable mentions and some other things afterwards. So why not keep the tradition going, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Ken, I think we'll start it with you since you're our guest. What's your number 10 movie of the year?
My number 10 movie of the year is Shirkers.
Shirkers. Great movie.
Shirkers.
Is the rest of the podcast just going to be Kevin loudly yelling Shirkers into the mic?
I hope so.
It could very well be. It is a really fun word to say.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Shirkers too. This is it's in my top 50. Didn't break my top 10, but Kevin, I imagine this is going to be on your top 10, right?
No? It's in my top 50.
Top 50. Okay.
Yeah, it's in there. But I mean, like the original Shirkers, that one? Oh man.
The original Shirkers, I just know would be my favorite movie of all time.
I know, it's just so disappointing.
Yeah.
This is on Netflix if you are unfamiliar, and it's a documentary about a lost film of sorts. And it's really excellent. I really loved it too. So that's Ken's number 10. Kevin, what about you? What's your number 10?
My number 10 is Fail to Appear, which this played on Mubi, on the Mubi.com. I wrote about this one earlier in the year. I didn't write that much this year, but this is one movie I did write about.
Yeah, you were majorly slacking this year.
That's true.
Like,
that is very true.
I was just wondering, like, what is Kevin watching? What's he doing? What's Kevin doing this year?
It's been a secret all leading up to this.
Well, you've been on the podcast, so I've been kept abreast to what you've been doing, so
correct.
So is that still on Mubi, or what's the deal?
No, it's not. It's not. But throughout the year, check these places out, especially Mubi. Mubi this year, a lot of quality stuff. Like actual online premieres. Really, a number of them showed up on my list.
And that's Fail to Appear. My number 10 is Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've talked about this a lot in the past on the show, on the site, directed by Ryan Coogler. I imagine will be on a lot of people's year-end lists. I've been meaning to revisit this and haven't got around to it yet, but yeah.
Yeah, same here.
I'm kind of surprised that that's higher on my list than yours.
Yeah, I really liked it. But there were just a number of things that just slowly. I mean, I think it was number 1 or number 2 at one point, like on the mid-year, and it's just
yeah. It also came out like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2018 felt so long that like there was a viral tweet going around where someone said that Black Panther came out in 2018, and I knew that because I had like a list I was keeping, but still it didn't feel true because to paraphrase, like, as people said, 2018 really a year that's been a very long century.
I completely agree.
It's insane.
I've been
this year.
I've been working on this list for, I don't know, a week now, just refining it, moving things around, watching stuff that I am trying to get caught up on. And the list this year was so difficult for me to make. In pretty much all the previous years, I knew exactly what my number 1 was. And then the top 5, really, like I would have that locked in. But this year there were so many that were not not 10 out of 10s, but like solid 8s, and that's why this year I decided to also publish a top 50. Kevin, you're usually the only one that does a top 50, but
I saw that.
But this year I was like, you know what, I got to do a top 50 too, because there's so many movies that are worth noting, that there were like a lot of titles that I wanted to mention and I wanted people to see that didn't quite make it on like that top list. But so yeah, I had to do a top 50, and truthfully, my top 10, a lot of these could be rearranged. You could probably rearrange any number of these. So yeah, really difficult year for me making lists. I was really toiling over it this year.
Yeah, that's about where I am for a lot of my top 5 or 6 or so, except for number 1, which I feel slightly more strongly about than the others, but I definitely get what you mean.
Number 9, Ken, what do you have for number 9?
I have Black Panther at number 9.
Oh, okay. Kevin, what about you?
Man, I'm just kind of surprised that Black Panther's going to be higher than the two of you on my list.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised there's a superhero movie
I know
on your list at all. I'm surprised that there's a studio film on your list at all.
we got him on there. My number 9 is Ouroboros, which was also on Mubi. Get yourself a Mubi subscription.
You were just really shilling for movie here.
Hey,
are you getting some kickbacks from this? Is that what's happening here? Are there kickbacks?
Do we have to stage an inquiry?
I fucking wish, but no, I'm not. But this is directed by Basma Al Sharif. It's like it's an experimental narrative, kind of like an homage to the Gaza Strip, and kind of like a study of displacement. It's really good. Fantastic cinematography in there.
All right.
It's really interesting watch. So keep an eye out for it, if you get a chance.
Probably never be able to see that.
You don't know that.
It'll probably show up on Netflix like 5 years from now, but you'll never be able to find it in the list of
No, it'd be buried.
Stuff.
Yeah.
We'll come back to Netflix. My number 9 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I really, really loved this movie. I was really surprised with how much I loved it. From the early trailers, I was like, okay, that looks really cool. It looks like they're doing something different with the animation. But seeing it on the big screen, it's just a whole other experience. It really hit all the notes for me. And I think this is the best Spider-Man movie that's ever been made. I think it's the best superhero movie of the year. I just can't say enough about it. And I think that the thing that sucks about this movie is that I feel like not enough people are seeing it because it's animated. I think that immediately is some sort of red flag for people for some reason. But man, if you haven't seen this yet, please go out and see it. Number 8, Ken, what do you have?
My number 8 is The Wild Boys. This is the debut feature from a French short filmmaker. He basically made short films. His name is Bertrand Mandico. I'm sure I'm messing that up somehow. It's about these 5 sort of wealthy schoolboys that commit a very violent crime, and then they're banished to this remote island as punishment. And this island has all sorts of fantastical elements on it, and all sorts of transformations, both among them and among the nature around them, start to form. And it's kind of this great, crazy, surreal, almost Guy Madden inspired in a lot of ways, story about how everything is fluid, everything is subjective, and the more you try and sort things into rigid definitions that can change, the more they will.
And was that the one that had it was an entirely female cast?
Yes, all of the all of the male lead characters are played by women.
Yeah, I remember.
What was the name of that again?
The Wild Boys.
I remember when that came out. It really looked really interesting.
Oh yeah, I really liked it.
Cool.
That played on Mubi.
Mubi is really performing a valuable public service here.
I'm just pointing them out. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Can the 2020 Democratic nominee please nationalize Mubi?
I'm for it.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is this is kind of a weird one because it's something that we saw. It seems like ages ago, but that's Dim the Fluorescence.
Did that?
We covered it back when it played Slam Dance.
Yeah, I thought that came out
But
5 years ago.
No, it finally came out this year to like everyone, not like a festival setting. Came out to the masses, because that's what, to be on my list, you have to be available to everyone.
Okay.
So Dim the Fluorescence finally was made available to everyone, and man, you should check this out. This is a audacious comedy. It's just, I was kind of blown away with this one back when we covered it for Slam Dance. Like, what was that?
2016?
2011? 2011? 2016?
Yeah.
Loved it back then, and I love it now.
I actually really love this movie too. It's not, I didn't realize that came out this year, so it's not on my list.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you were putting together a retrospective for its 25th anniversary.
It's so ridiculous. It's a struggling actress and a struggling playwright that work together, and since they can't get gigs, really all they do is like these corporate training seminars for companies in, like, you know, conference rooms and shit like that. But they're really, really elaborate, and they really put their heart and soul into them. And it's just it's a ride.
yeah, it's really funny, and it's a really good time. I really enjoyed that movie too. All right, good pick. Dim the Fluorescence. Let's see. My number 8 is Shoplifters.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Shoplifting.
Yeah. We just reviewed this on the podcast a few weeks ago, so I don't feel like I need to get into it again, but I just really loved this movie. I thought that it was really heartfelt, and I loved all of the characters, and I just thought the performances were so good, and it was just a great all-around time. Shoplifters. Ken, number 7.
My number 7 is Support the Girls. This is the new film by Andrew Bujalski. It's really heartfelt and humane. It was just so nice to see a movie that really cared, that was about like people that cared about each other. It's a great examination of kind of the current state of like being working class in America, and especially like for women and people of color, and kind of how the difficulties of existing within systems that are set to marginalize you, and just kind of how you live within them. And of course, Regina Hall is fantastic in it.
Yeah, I agree. I liked this movie a lot too. We reviewed this on the podcast, and both Kevin and I liked this quite a bit as well. It's just light and fun. I think that we were always sort of on the lookout for movies like this, where they're inoffensive. They're just a good time.
Yeah. I mean, I did sort of talk about kind of the themes under the surface, but it's still under a very like funny and just kind of, yeah, you're right. It just feels good. It's a movie that feels very humane.
And that's Support the Girls. Kevin, number 7.
Oh, my number 7 is The Rider. It's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. And I just love the way in which she kind of utilizes these like real life occurrences and kind of blends it into this story. And on top of that, actually using people and their disabilities and just kind of building a film around them. It's just oh boy.
I couldn't fit this one in, unfortunately.
Mm.
So yeah, I missed out on that one.
Well, when you do, you're gonna love it. I hope.
I'm
I'll be disappointed if you don't.
I'm sure I will. I probably will.
I'll be disappointed if you don't as well. You will disappoint both of us.
Oh wow, I
You're
definitely
gonna
don't.
disappoint probably the two most important people in your life.
I definitely don't want to do that. So I will catch up with the rider and report back.
We can pause now and you can
I'll just watch
if
it
you
and then come back.
want. Just put it on in the background.
You'll be able,
See
you'll be able
if
to
you
hear
can,
it
like-
as we're recording.
Since you should watch it on a big screen, since the cinematography is so good, see if you can hack one of those big electronic billboards in Times Square and project it on there like as the ball is dropping, just so everyone can enjoy it.
I'm just imagining the confusion of people in Times Square as the rider is playing underneath the ball. My number 7 is Thunder Road by Jim Cummings. This is a film that I immediately loved when I first saw it, and I actually rewatched it this weekend. I had some family visiting and watched it with them. They liked it, but they didn't quite love it on the same level as I did because they found it to be too sad and awkward. But that because it's so sad and awkward is why I loved it. One of the reasons I loved it so much. I think Jim Cummings does a great job in this. I loved the dialogue in this movie, and it was such a wonderful blend of comedy and tragedy that I think that very few other movies got to the same heights that this movie did this year with that delicate balancing act. So yeah, I highly recommend Thunder Road by Jim Cummings. Ken, number 6.
My number 6 is Deborah Granick's Leave No Trace.
Okay.
It's a very beautiful story about a PTSD-stricken veteran and his daughter kind of living off the grid in the forest, and becomes a story about the always changing relationships between parents and children and the passage of time and between that, and all sorts of very interesting things, and with 2 really good performances from Ben Foster and Thomasin McKenzie.
Yeah, this is another one that I didn't get a chance to see yet this year. Kevin, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is Black Panther.
Uh-oh.
And I just have, because I kind of wrote notes for all of them, the only note I have for Black Panther is just fun as shit. Because it was a lot of fun.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it
Yep.
immensely. I'm looking forward to Black Panther 2 and Black Panther 3 and Black Panther 4.
The Black Panther
But I'm going to
quadrilogy.
stop after 4. I think I'm going to stop after 4. If they go more than 4, I'm done after 4.
Okay.
I'll give you 4 of them.
What if Black Panther 5 is on Mubi?
It's that bridge when we come to it. If that.
My number 6 is 8th Grade. This is the debut from Bo Burnham. Really funny, really funny coming of age story. Elsie Fisher is phenomenal in this, and I believe that's her first. I think that's her debut as well. This is one that I've seen multiple times as well, and on subsequent watches, it remains just as funny, and it's not one to be missed. Ken, top 5.
Yeah, my number 5 is Lynn Ramsey's You Were Never Really Here.
You know, a lot of people love this movie. This is like on a lot of people's top lists. It just didn't speak to me like a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people do love that one.
I guess a very different movie about how trauma affects people and examining how they interact in the world, but it's might be a very different approach to it, but it's no less impactful or meaningful, and Joaquin Phoenix is very good in it.
Indeed. Kevin, number 5.
My number 5 is Drift by Helena Whitman. This played on Festival Scope. The Festival Scope has that, not the pro one, but the other website where, you know, some of the festivals, they usually show like 8 or 9 movies from it. This was a part of their new directors, new films Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So I caught on there. Also, one of the movies that I wrote about this year, one of 9, I think. And this is experimental, and it's really interesting what they do, or what she does here is it's a couple kind of spending some time together. They part ways and then they come back together and kind of see if they changed it all. But this whole like middle section of them parting ways and going back to their respective homes, it's essentially just the sea. It's just shots of the sea of them traveling.
That's right. I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah. So this is like it focuses almost solely on the very quiet moments that are usually cut out of films. It leaves all that stuff in.
Ah,
And I thought it worked really well.
okay. And that's Drift. My number 5 is Sorry to Bother You by Boots Riley. This movie's just a great time. I love movies that challenge the audience, and I love movies that, I mean, this was a pretty mainstream movie, but when you see it, you're just like, this movie is just so absurd and completely just batshit. And I love that someone gave Boots Riley the freedom to make a movie like this. And I love the performances in it. And I can't wait to revisit this movie just because it's so insane and so much fun.
I definitely liked it. I might not have loved it as much as you did, but I do agree that it's so wonderful just to know that it exists and he was able to make it.
Ken, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Widows by Steve McQueen.
Solid.
An incredible ensemble cast, lots of really fascinating ideas and subtexts and themes going around. And on top of that, it's just a really well-constructed heist movie.
Yeah, that was one of the surprises, I guess, for me with this movie, is that it does often play out like a conventional heist thriller. And I found that to be somewhat refreshing. I didn't expect that. And that was definitely something that I welcomed with this movie. But yeah, the performances across the board were pretty phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Faust by Andrea Bussman. Another thing that played on Festival Scope. She takes a camera to Mexico, and essentially it's like little tidbits, little stories being retold and stuff, kind of based on the legend or the myth of Faust. And it's got a fantastic score. I think it's like I want to say 16 millimeter film, shot on 16 millimeter. And it's something, these types of movies that I love, where it's almost inviting you to fall asleep in a good way. Like, it's very welcoming and very, very comfortable. And it's just very soothing experience.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that too. My number 4 is Blind Spotting. This is a movie that I think maybe when it came out, it just came out a little bit earlier in the year, and people kind of, I don't know if people forgot about it, or maybe people just didn't love it as much as I did. But this is a really, really great movie that, again, blends comedy with some really serious subject matter. And it's also sort of a musical in a lot of ways too. And the music is really great as well. I highly recommend checking out Blind Spotting, my number 4. Ken, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Yorgos Lanthimos' new film, The Favorite.
Uh-oh.
Is that a good uh-oh or a bad uh-oh?
No, it's good. That's coming up on my list.
Yeah. Basically, my takeaway from it, I think it's what I wrote on Letterboxd as my little comment, is that the Academy should create enough new acting Oscars so everybody in this movie wins at least one. And when I say at least one, I mean, like, Olivia Colman, for example, should win 2 or 3 for it.
She's so funny in this movie. Oh my God. Oh boy. Yes, The Favorite. Kevin, number 3.
I'm bummed that I haven't seen The Favorite yet.
Yeah, I think
I'm really looking forward to
I
it.
really think that would have gone on your Maybe
I'm
not.
pretty sure.
Maybe I don't know if it would go in top 10. It would definitely go on like top 20 for sure.
It would have been in there somewhere.
I also want to say a word about how the text setting for the credits in The Favorite, which does not make sense to say if you haven't seen it, but it's the only time when like credits started scrolling up on the screen and I started just laughing at the sight of them.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible. That's something that I always notice with movies is like title cards and credits. It's something that I always look at. Maybe a little bit too much.
You cannot not notice it here.
Yeah. Kevin, what's your number 3?
If Beale Street could talk.
Again, that's coming up on my list.
I need this movie right now because what this movie has is an overabundance of love and affection. And I just need to experience that right now because I'm just getting increasingly more frustrated, pissed off. And I just want to break everything in this fucking room.
Oh,
because everything was all of a sudden it's just like can't connect to anything. I got my little voice connected thing down here because it's just green, red, and then orange, and then red, and then orange again. Ugh.
This experience that you're having on the last day of 2018 feels a lot like what 2018 felt like a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully it doesn't come through in what you all are listening to, but Kevin's having a lot of technical issues. Yeah, if Beale Street Could Talk is phenomenal. Great stuff. My number 3 is The Endless, directed by Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson. This was a movie I saw last year, I believe, at Tribeca, maybe. And I completely loved it. And it just stayed at the top of my list the whole time. I was keeping an eye on it. The way I do my lists is if I see it at a festival, I wait until the year it comes out and the year it's actually released to put it on the list. So this was actually released in 2018 and it just lingered up there at the top, and it fell a couple spots and then it was like back up. And then I saw it again and it just, man, it's such an incredible film. If you're not familiar with these directors, they did Resolution and they did Spring. This is their third movie, and it's this amazing culmination of like sort of what they've been building towards. And man, it's a great sci-fi thriller, and can't recommend it highly enough. The Endless. All right, number 2, Ken. What have you got?
I have Paddington 2.
Paddington 2, number 2. Wow.
It's a great movie about a great bear doing great things to make our terrifying, cruel world a little bit more empathetic. And I guess like for like awards and whatnot, for the animated feature category, sometimes there's a rule about how much of the movie has to be animated. So because most of the film is live action, it's, Paddington in a live action world, that wouldn't qualify. So that makes it that much more imperative that anyone voting for any kind of award put it in their best picture slot. Just put it anywhere in that category.
Did you see Paddington 1?
Yes, and it's better than Paddington.
Okay.
It's even better. Paddington was great. Paddington 2 is even better. Paddington 3 will bring about world peace.
Because I saw
how deep will you go into Paddington? Will you go 4?
As many Paddington movies as there have to be until there are no more problems in the world and everyone is just getting along and eating marmalade sandwiches.
There you go. Okay.
I don't know how many that takes, but I'm there until it does.
Hopefully it's 4.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
This is like number 18 on my list. I really love this movie. I never saw the first one though. I came into it. I came into it at Paddington 2, and I haven't watched the first one because I figured, well, why do I need to? Because everybody's raving that this one is so much better.
Were you lost in any way?
No, I mean, I wasn't lost. I was able to put together the pieces. He's a bear and he's living with this family. Like that's all I really.
That would have been my favorite part. Is the eternal fuck's going on with this bear?
Where did this bear come from?
It's great though. It's again going back to just movies that sort of make you feel good and distract you from the horrors that of the world that we live in right now. I think we'll see more movies like this in 2019.
Yes, I think we could best describe them as movies that are, they're nice, they're empathetic, they're kind of relaxed in a way. They just sort of make you feel relaxed. Basically, movies that are the opposite of Twitter, I think, is what we need more of in 2019.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Kevin, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is The Wolf House, which played on Mubi. Get that another movie in there.
Big surprise.
But this one is this is incredible craft here with the stop motion animation, where they use all the rooms, they paint entire rooms. You see it being painted. You don't see them painting it, but you see the paint going on and all that. It's kind of difficult to describe, but man, it is it's mesmerizing to watch how they're kind of able to pull this off for a full-length movie. It's impressive film to me of the year.
There you go. Wolf House. My number 2 is If Beale Street Could Talk. Again, we just reviewed this a few weeks ago on the podcast. I think it was 2 weeks ago, actually. The last podcast episode that aired, we reviewed this. It's just a wonderful, wonderful film. I haven't read the book. I'd like to read the book, but just from watching the movie, it seems like Barry Jenkins really took care to adapt the novel properly. And it's just a movie that it deals with some difficult themes, but at the same time, that wonderful love story, powers through all of the trials and tribulations of these characters, and it makes you feel good. It's a feel good movie at the end of the day. And I think that's why I loved it so much. All right, here we are. Number 1, Ken, what's your number 1 movie of 2018?
My number 1 movie of the year is First Reformed by Paul Schrader.
Another light feel good movie. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, another movie that's just really it's basically makes you feel exactly the way that Paddington 2 did. I mean, they're just hand in hand. Yeah, it's an interesting discussion that I heard somewhere else, which means I'm about to steal whatever they said, I guess, is how it's a really good movie about faith, about like not necessarily solely about religion, but just faith in the ideas of human society and the future of humanity against kind of the greed and large sort of uncaring corporate monoliths and how they affect individual human systems and structures. So it's about whether you can have any faith left in humanity against all of its kind of own self-imposed things that it tries to destroy it with. So it's about the environment and pollution and all of that, and the ideas of the end of time and all that. So, it's a really great feel-good movie. Ethan Hawke is wonderful in it, and I was really ready to go more to bat for like individual citations for Paul Schrader for this movie, but now it's kind of hard to do if he's just gonna like sabotage himself by just saying dumb things on Facebook all the time.
yeah, it's unfortunate.
So he's on his own.
I really love this movie too. This was on my top 10 up until earlier today. I was like rearranging things, and it just ended up not quite making the top 10, but it could easily be switched out with some of my other films on there. I really, just the look of it, I really love the aesthetic of this movie, the aspect ratio that he chose, and the impeccable framing of this movie. Loved it. This would have landed on Kevin's top 10, but he hated that floating scene, so that ruined the whole movie for him.
He did that that ending too. I didn't like that ending.
I liked the ending.
I didn't like the ending.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna kind of have like a fun, unique list because I have a movie called First Reformed in number one and Paddington 2 in number two, but a few weeks ago, David Ehrlich's wonderful like annual video countdown came out, and he also had First Reformed in number one and Paddington 2 in number two. So it turns out I wasn't the only one who got to do that.
Kevin, what's your number one?
My number one is, I mean, slightly in the same vein as Ken, where it kind of deals with faith, but mine isn't. It doesn't come close to ending on someone just chugging a shit ton of Drano, and that is Happy as Lazaro, which you can watch right now on Netflix. And this is one that I really enjoyed it when I watched it. After I watched it, it kind of sitting like on the low end of the top 10. And every day I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And this movie has just stuck with me every single day since I watched it. And it just slowly crept up the list. And then today I was looking at it. You know what? I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm putting it in number one.
You did it.
I'm doing it right here. It happened. I love this movie so goddamn much.
I just want Lazaro to be in every movie. I just want him to pop up in movies and just be pleasant. He's just going to pop up and be pleasant in every movie.
Just like the nicest person in the world. And he gets treated like shit and he's taken advantage of, but
nicest person in the world surrounded by some of the worst people in the
awful people.
And I mean, it does have like the ending is not uplifting in any way, but I found it more so uplifting than if he ended up being corrupted. You know what I mean? Like he stuck it out to the end. He was good until the end.
I didn't quite make my top 10 list, but I do have it in like a few spots under that, and we'll also say some of the very best selection of Eurodance songs in any soundtrack this year.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! All right, my number one is The Favorite, much for the same reasons that Ken stated. I just, it's so odd and wonderful, and like I love the idea of Lanthimos tackling a period piece, and it's exactly what you would expect from him tackling a period piece, where it's just kind of skewed, like it's a little off, and everything feels a little off, and I loved every second of it. And the performances across the board were amazing, and I can't wait to see this again. So looking back at 2018, what do you guys think overall of the year, like the year in cinema? So we're setting aside all of the other horrible garbage that we had to live through in 2018, looking at just cinematic offerings of 2018. Ken, how would you say the year was overall?
Like you said, 2018 in a lot of aspects was a really rough year, but it was a very strong year for movies. There were lots of really interesting stories being told. And I think one common theme with a lot of that was just a lot of diversity and representation in what was getting in front of audiences, even in major releases. I think the kind of the pop cultural tone of the year was set very early on by Black Panther, and you had lots of movies from like Crazy Rich Asians to even like smaller movies from like the spring that kind of floated by, like Love, Simon. It was really a year where we were able to start expanding out and seeing that, while so many of the kind of like status quo opinions that still hold sway over what gets greenlit by a major studio and what doesn't get greenlit by a major studio, just now that there's palpable evidence that if you are creating art that actually appeals to underrepresented minority groups, and you're telling different stories and listening to different perspectives, you will create new things that haven't quite been done before on the scale. You'll have a broader pool of artists that you're working with, and you'll have an audience that is definitely there to see it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that this year was great for diversity in film. You saw a lot of movies featuring strong female roles and minorities, and a lot more female directors coming into the forefront, as well as a lot of black directors. I mean, we look at even I think the larger studio pictures are starting to fall in line and allowing for more diversity in their roster. We're not 100% there yet, but we're getting there as far as diversity in film.
I agree wholeheartedly. I don't really have too much to add to that. You guys pretty much covered it. But just another point that, and I think you kind of touched on towards the beginning, is the way I saw this year. Now, number one, it was a long year. It just it just felt like it would never end. And I'm there's still a part of me that thinks that tomorrow's just going to be December 32nd. Like, they're not going to let us out of 2018 somehow. They're going to change the calendars or something.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there wasn't a ton of, to me, 10 out of 10s that just like kind of blew me away. It was just really, really dense in terms of just a lot of solid movies to be had. And I think for someone into film, it's pretty damn exciting, because there's a ton of stuff out there, and it's really, really eclectic mix.
Yeah, we saw a lot of really strong debuts with like Bo Burnham in Eighth Grade, and Ari Aster doing Hereditary. We saw, so there are a lot of, and Boots Riley doing Sorry to Bother You. A lot of really strong debuts, and I feel like, and maybe I'm completely incorrect about this, but I feel like there were a lot of sort of mid-tier movies that were coming out, like movies like Sorry to Bother You, where they're not these giant, huge budget blockbusters, but they were, not super small indies that got released on 5 screens. I feel like in a lot of more recent years, we haven't had a lot of sort of mid-level, mid-tier movies that have done very well and got a bigger release. And this year we saw, I feel like a pretty good number of them. Upgrade is one that comes to mind, where Lee Whannell's sci-fi movie. That's a movie that didn't have a huge budget. It wasn't like the next Blade Runner. It was like a mid-level sci-fi movie that did really well and was really good.
Yeah, that would be really exciting if we're kind of coming into a new era where mid-budget, mid-tier movies are really coming back and making an impact in a big way.
We also saw a lot of skateboarding movies this year for some reason.
Everybody's on. Everyone wants skateboarding, man.
Yeah, we had Minding the Gap, we had Skate Kitchen, we had Mid-90s, and I think there were some other ones in there too that I may be forgetting about, but lots of skateboarding movies. I thought Minding the Gap was probably the best of the bunch, but Skate Kitchen was okay too. And I think we're getting some more skateboarding movies coming in 2019. And I think that they're adapting Skate Kitchen into a TV show as well.
Yeah, I don't know. That could work. Get rid of the unnecessary drama stuff.
I think they're going to double down on the drama.
Yeah, just let them hang and just do some skating.
If it's a TV show, I would bet that they're going to double down on the drama.
Oh, I'm sure they. I will say I didn't get to see a lot of them, but the amount of films that I didn't get to see that I'm really, really excited for, documentary-wise, it just seemed like a really strong year for documentaries.
Oh yeah, it was a great year for documentaries.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of docs this year. In previous years, I would just burn myself out on documentaries, but I think between Minding the Gap and Shirkers and Three Identical Strangers was another one I really loved this year. There were a lot of really solid documentaries. Won't You Be My Neighbor? Everybody, I'm sure, is pretty big on that.
You have movies like documentaries like Won't You Be My Neighbor that may not be like the most innovative or technically robust of documentaries, but I think going into what we were talking about earlier, just about nice movies that feel like they're performing a public service that would definitely be an example of it, and it's really great to see how it's been, resonating.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you, Ken. As far as the style of Won't You Be My Neighbor, it was pretty average. You're pretty average talking head doc, but it came out at just the right time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix also saw a lot of big releases this year, and I know that they're planning on even more next year. I think they announced 90 original movies next year. So, yeah. So, what do you guys think of this Netflix thing overall? Because, I mean, in previous years, in 2017, even in 2016, we saw the sort of emergence of Netflix putting out original movies. But this year was the first year that they had some really heavy hitters. And I know that on my top 50 list, there's a number of Netflix titles on there. I don't know about you guys, but what do you think, Ken, overall, with how Netflix plays a part in movies?
I mean, it's such a sort of a complicated thing, Netflix, because on one hand, it has historically been very bad with how it treats its original content. There's so many movies that went to Netflix and then just got buried, just seemingly because they wanted to have just to meet some kind of quantity level of movies that they were going to hit. But I think there is tremendous value in how it can take on projects that otherwise wouldn't have gotten them the amount of attention and gotten in front of as many people as it did. And when it can combine a theatrical exhibition, so people can go and see it on a big screen if they can, and then being able to show it to everybody, then that's really one of its strengths. If it follows more like the Amazon model, then I think that's really where it's hitting an ideal point. So I think that's the model they're following with Roma, where they tried to kind of give it a little bit of a theatrical play before putting it out on the platform. And just in general, just because they kind of operate more as in the vein of a premium cable provider, where maybe some people are subscribing for specific kinds of content, so you can more cater to that, then certainly projects finishing The Other Side of the Wind or something show what Netflix's resources can do. And so I think obviously there's still going to be lots of things that just appear on Netflix and then vanish, and some maybe deserve that more than others. But I think we're seeing this year that there is a lot that we still don't quite know about where this is going.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit of a double-edged sword, where you can get movies like Timeshare and The World Is Yours. These are two movies that landed on my top 50, and they're both Netflix originals, and they had absolutely zero marketing behind them at all. I didn't even know that they were available on Netflix. I got no emails about them. I got nothing. And these are two great movies that showed up on Netflix that I was not even aware of. And it's a double-edged sword in that I think that it's great that these are both foreign films that anyone can see. They get released for everyone in the United States, at least. At the same time, you don't have to go to a major metropolitan area and find the art house theater to see this movie. But at the same time, what's going on here? These movies are completely swept under the rug.
Yeah. I mean, and then when you see what Netflix can do if it finds something that people are catching onto and really promotes it, and then just sort of uses it to drive it even higher. Back in August, I reviewed a screener link of To All the Boys I've Loved Before a few days before it came out, and I saw it and I wrote my review, and I thought it was a very nice movie. More important representation for Asian American characters the same week that Crazy Rich Asians came out. That was an amazing weekend, by the way. But I watched it a few days before it came out, and I thought this is a nice movie, but it felt like something that Netflix was going to sort of push out there and then bury away at the bottom. And so I was really thrilled to see it just catch on and really connect with people, and then to see Netflix embrace that because it was so popular. That just kind of shows you what it can do. Of course, it can also promote, really that if a really terrible movie catches on, then that also takes up all of the space. Does anybody here see The Kissing Booth?
No, I didn't see that one.
Don't. It's dead last on my list. Like everything ranked, it's dead last. It is repugnant. But that still was another movie that was popular on Netflix that Netflix sort of latched onto and started promoting aggressively. But if it just figured out some way to kind of maybe stage that a little bit more succinctly instead of just spending some time going all in on a few things that are sort of more popular at the moment and then kind of giving more of a wider appeal to all of its content, then that would be a remarkable improvement on what they're doing now. Because I think they still do have that problem where they have so much going on and so many different kind of niches and demographics that they end up kind of going with none of them at all and letting everything fall wherever it does.
Yeah, they seem to kind of just wait and let people do the work for them. Like as soon as, a couple of people start talking about a movie and it catches on a little bit, then Netflix shows up like, yeah, this is ours. We made this. We love it. We're going to advertise the hell out of it. But if no one discovers it and no one really talks about it, Netflix just kind of like, it's on there if you want to look for it. It's infuriating because there's some good stuff on there, but I mean, most of the time for me, the way I learn is I just happen to be following the right person on Twitter. And they'll be like, such and such is on Netflix. And I'll be like, oh, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how I found several Netflix movies this year as well. And I'll get emails from Netflix, PR emails about certain things. But then there's some things where I don't get emails about them at all, which is very strange. Like they don't put any marketing towards some of the movies that they release, and it's just very, very odd. Like I got tons of emails about Bird Box, like I knew about that one well in advance that Bird Box was coming out.
I still don't know exactly what Bird Box is. I just know the memes.
Yeah, that's I was not into that one. I was not into the Bird Box. I think that 2019 will be an interesting time for Netflix. I think we're going to see more of the interactive style things coming out of Netflix. We have the Black Mirror, I guess you could call it a movie, dropped this past weekend, which I don't know if you guys had a chance to give that a look. Have either of you looked at Bandersnatch?
Not really.
This is a back-to-back. Hey, you gotta be kidding me, back-to-back with Bandersnatch and Bird Box. What the fuck, man?
Bandersnatch, Bird Box.
That's just
we need a third one.
It's like they're just fucking with us now.
I thought that the Bandersnatch was really interesting. It was a really cool idea, and I liked it a lot. And I think we'll probably see more of that in 2019 from Netflix, sort of trying different things with the fact that it is an interactive platform and you can make, some sort of interesting media experiences with it.
When you watch Bandersnatch, when you got to the end of it, are you like, tried different configurations of this, or are you just kind of like, yeah, that's
no, so yeah, so it's really cool how it works. I would imagine that everybody's experience is a little bit different, but anytime you make a really big decision that sort of ends the story, it rewinds it a little bit and allows you to pick a different choice. But some of those things are sort of baked into the main story itself. It's really hard to describe, but it's very meta. It's very, it's kind of trippy in how it works. It's Well worth a look, though. I would highly recommend giving it a look. It's a good story, though. Like it's not crappy or anything. It's a really engaging story. Well, yeah, we'll see. I also don't really know who they're getting on their roster for 2019 as far as directors. They got some really big directors, a lot of directors that I quite like in 2018 that made things that I thought were not amazing, like Gareth Evans and Jeremy Saulnier. So we'll see who they pick up, and the Coen brothers too. I really didn't like Buster Scruggs that much.
No.
So
it's just like watered down versions.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes with them in 2019. Any other things that are coming up, maybe things to round out 2018, or maybe things that you guys are excited for in 2019?
2018's been so exhausting, I haven't gotten the chance to look forward to anything yet.
Same here.
I've just been trying to get out of 2018.
I'm hoping that 2019 will see more comedies. I feel like I say that every single year, but I feel like over the last 5 years we've had a dearth of comedies. Like there's just nothing. There's been a handful of solid comedies in 2018, but I'd like to see more.
Yeah. It would be definitely welcomed.
I'm wondering if we're going to see more movies that are in the same style of Searching and Unfriended Dark Web. I'm wondering if we'll see some more of those, if that's going to be a style that catches on in 2019.
I have a feeling it will.
Yeah, because Searching, I think, was pretty popular. I don't think Unfriended Dark Web was that much of a moneymaker, but I think it was really good.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
Well, and I think it's just kind of a perfect storm thing going on there too. Like you can just record your screen. Just I have a feeling that we're going to see this like deluge of all these knockoffs. If everyone just giving it a shot, just to have stuff glitch out here and there, like it's going to be like the next like found footage or something.
I hope not, but I'm afraid that will happen. All right, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Tune in next week when we'll be talking about our most anticipated films of 2019. You can send us your questions and topics to feedback@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet, @FilmPulseKevin, and @KBake_99. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rakestrong, Ken Bakley, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.